So today's video is about getting skunked. That means thinking you're gonna have a session and for whatever reason you get out there and you can't ride at all. That's the less glamorous side of kiteboarding. I committed to being transparent with you and telling you both the good, the bad, the ugly. Here it is. On a recent trip to Florida, I went out for 3 different sessions. All 3 sessions got ruined for different reasons. One of those reasons can be storms coming in like this one. Today's video, I'm gonna show those 3 sessions. I'm also gonna talk about all the different ways I've had a session skunked. That way you know how to look out for them and you can prevent them as much as possible. So getting into the different types of skunks, getting skunked by the elements. This one is the most out of your control. You don't control what the elements do. This one's often the most frustrating. So it's, the wind is too light, or the wind dies out of the blue, or worse, the wind changes wind direction so that it doesn't work for that particular spot. Or a weather pattern brings in thunderstorms, lightning, anything that makes it unsafe, or even the temperatures drop and ice forms and you can't get in the water because of the ice. It had been a month since I'd kited. I was heading down to Florida. I was staying at the beach. I'm super psyched to get some sessions in. I see the forecast pick up. I assemble my foil. I run out to the beach, get all set up, and the kite just falls out of the sky. Wind does not cooperate. Can't get the kite relaunched. I gotta call the session. So forecast called for 15 miles an hour. I got the 12-meter single strut and the foil. Couldn't even get out past the break. Kite just fell out of the sky. I wait a couple of days. I see the wind pick up for session number 2. I'm excited, but a little bit nervous. So take 2, it's raining, it's cold. I cannot tell if there's any wind. Same thing, I grab my foil, I schlep all the way out to the beach. I put everything out, I get set up, I start to notice that the wind's picking up. I get the kite launched, and as soon as it's up in the air, I realize I'm horribly, horribly overpowered. A change in weather patterns, a quick change in thunderstorms came in, and I just got a ton of extra wind. I was super overpowered on the 12-meter. I'd only brought the foil with me, so session number 2 ruined. 2 failed sessions in a row. Tumbling kite sessions out at the beach. I get my gear, I get my foil, everything's looking great, and then boom. Huge thunderstorm coming in over the horizon, lightning forecast. It's probably not worth even trying. Getting into skunk category number 2, this one's about the spot itself. This one's frustrating. It's mostly out of your control, but it tends to happen when you're going to a new spot. If you're going to a spot you've been to a million times, this tends to happen less and less. But the way this pans out is you get to the spot and maybe the beach is completely filled with people and there's no way to launch. Maybe you get there and the beach banned kiting, or maybe they put up obstacles so that it's no longer safe to launch. Maybe there's a wind shadow that you couldn't see on any of the maps or you didn't hear about before you got there. All of these different things can come up and they basically can ruin your session. So hopping back to Florida, going out for my 3rd session, the forecast here is right in the middle. It looks good. So I hadn't had luck with my hydrofoil. This time I decided to go out on a twin tip. I look around, I notice sand starting to blow around on the ground. The forecast just comes in way stronger than expected. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be really fun. Then it picks up even more. So 3rd session in a row, completely ruined. This one is just kiter stupidity. Jumping back to the different categories of getting skunked, this one is kiter error. These are mostly preventable. These are when you forget the right equipment or you bring the wrong equipment and it's all on you. In the past, I've forgotten a bar. In the past, I've forgotten parts to my foot straps. I brought the wrong kite or too big of a kite or too small of a kite. Yet another humbling kite surfing session. Today, the forecast had like 18 miles an hour, maybe 15 miles an hour in the forecast. So I thought I was gonna get a nice lazy session in on a twin tip with a 15-meter. I get out there and it's like 25 to 30 miles an hour. It's just too dangerous with so big of a kite. I get dragged around, couldn't get any footage, came back in, called it early. Obviously, you need to think through this. At New York Kite Center, the owner, John, always says, bring everything, all the time. And that's really the best solution for this. Bring as much of the equipment and be ready for your session. In this particular case, I was just lazy and I wanted to walk out to the beach with just one kite and I didn't have time to go back and swap it out. Getting into the last category of skunks, this is gear failure. This one can be the most frustrating. You can prevent it a little bit by maintaining your equipment and cleaning your equipment. But at the end of the day, when something's gonna break, it's gonna break. The biggest one that happened to me, I had a video about it when I went to Houston kiteboarding, but one of the foot straps on my board broke. In the past, I've broken lines on my bar. I've had a harness break before. These are super frustrating. When I'm cutting at my home spot, I often have backup gear. So I'll have a backup bar, I'll have a backup harness. But when I'm traveling, I can't bring all of this stuff with me all the time. Cool, so hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully it wasn't too frustrating to watch. I think it's important for you to know all the different ways that a session can get ruined. If you know this, you can kind of prepare for the inevitable, and hopefully it helps more of you guys get more sessions out on the water. If you'd like to give me a thumbs up, if I said something stupid or forgot something important, put it in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.